Come on, bruh. How do we keep losing to the Sparks at home? They're the bottom of the barrel of the league, bro. Oh, dog. Why do we keep losing to this team?
The Indiana Fever, fresh off an impressive 3-game winning streak that included crushing the Dallas Wings, dominating the Minnesota Lynx for their first Commissioner's Cup championship, and absolutely destroying A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces, were expected to handle the struggling Los Angeles Sparks with ease.
In terms of the fourth quarter, they had all but one of their buckets was inside the paint. Was that them just being able to get into the paint and get whatever they want because of that point of attack defense like you were talking about?
Yeah, they had that. And
the Sparks, sitting at the bottom of the WNBA standings, seemed like perfect prey for a Fever team riding high on momentum. But what transpired in their home arena will leave fans questioning everything about officiating consistency in women's professional basketball.
So here we are, and man, she is talking about having a conversation with a WNBA official, and the official telling her, oh, this is going to be unbelievable. This is going to be like so-and-so's arrival. And Christine is literally like, oh, they are totally unprepared for what's coming their way. And talking about the Caitlin Clark effect. The
Indiana Fever entered this matchup facing significant adversity. Star player Caitlin Clark remained sidelined with a left groin injury, marking her 5th consecutive game on the bench. The rookie sensation, who has been averaging 18.2 points across 33 minutes per game, was sorely missed as the team's primary playmaker and offensive catalyst. Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today, it's just really a day-to-day thing. We're making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness.
Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It's just, it really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're.
But Clark's absence wasn't the only challenge. Forward Damaris Dantas was representing her country in FIBA Americas, disrupting the team's rotation. In an even more shocking development, veteran Dana Evans had reportedly left the team entirely, leaving the Fever short-handed at crucial positions. Despite these setbacks, ESPN's matchup predictor still gave Indiana a commanding 72.9% chance of victory. MGM had them favored by 6.5 points. The logic seemed sound. The Sparks were struggling near the bottom of the league standings, while the Fever boasted multiple all-star caliber players still available.
This is ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. Stephanie White, can you have your team ready to play? This team has no level of consistency. All that this team is better without Caitlin Clark. Let's put that to bed now. Let's put that to bed now. This team lost back-to-back games at home versus the LA Sparks, who are at the bottom of the WNBA. This team lost at home to the Connecticut Sun, who are the worst team in the WNBA. All that they're better without Caitlin Clark. Put that to bed. Stop it. Stop.
3 players refused to let the Fever go down without a fight, delivering performances that should have secured victory. Aliyah Boston dominated the paint with 23 points and 12 rebounds, shooting an efficient 9 of 17 from the field. The all-star center showcased exactly why she's considered one of the elite big players in the league, finally getting the touches she needed to impact the game.
I don't get it. Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, wait until you see what they did for Kelsey Plum tonight. They get all the calls, touch fouls, anything. And guess what happens? Aliyah Boston, the best center in the game. And guess what happens to her? She gets called for every touch foul and ends up in foul trouble this entire season and is still putting up MVP type numbers. What happens with Caitlin Clark? Have you ever seen her get a touch foul? Phantom call? No. The physicality, that's the WNBA when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But anybody else, The physicality disappears.
Kelsey Mitchell stepped up huge in Clark's absence, dropping 19 points and connecting on 3 crucial three-pointers. In a historic moment, Mitchell played her 251st game for the Fever, with only Tamika Catchings having played more games in franchise history. Veteran Natasha Howard brought her championship experience to bear, nearly recording a double-double with 21 points and 9 rebounds on an incredible 8 of 11 shooting performance. These 3 players combined for 63 points and 23 rebounds, more than enough production to defeat a struggling Sparks team. The stage was set for a comfortable Indiana victory.
Angel Sparks on Saturday evening. Head coach Stephanie White has guided her team to 3 straight wins, including a Commissioner's Cup championship victory over the Minnesota Lynx. Following that, the Fever crushed the Las Vegas Aces 81-54. Indiana is now 9-8 and sits third in the Eastern Conference, playing the second of 5 straight games at home. Love to see that homestand. However, the team received tough news Friday afternoon. Star guard Caitlin Clark was ruled out again for Saturday with.
But this is where our story takes a disturbing turn. What should have been a routine victory became a masterclass in controversial officiating that left players, coaches, and fans questioning the integrity of the game. The most egregious example came when Sophie Cunningham was grabbed around the neck by a Sparks player. Instead of calling an obvious foul, officials awarded a jump ball. On the very next play, Cunningham was thrown to the ground with no call. Aliyah Boston, despite her dominant performance, found herself in constant foul trouble due to phantom calls. Video review shows multiple instances where Boston was called for fouls despite minimal or no contact.
Stephanie White, can you have your troops ready to go out there and play ball? What are we doing? What are we doing? How do we not have a game plan to slow down Kelsey Plum? Kelsey Plum annihilated us the first 3 quarters. She did whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted. She's going left. You know Kelsey Plum is going left. We can't stop her from getting to her left hand. Whenever she wanted to get left, she got there. Whenever she wanted to size somebody up, drain a 3, she did it. She killed us so much the first 3 quarters. The entire fourth quarter, all we did was blitz her, double her, just to get the ball out of her hands. And what did that do? Compromise the entire.
In the fourth quarter, when games are typically decided, the officiating became even more questionable. Kelsey Plum was seen clearly elbowing Lexi Hall and then purposely stepping over her to prevent her from getting up. Despite a referee being in perfect position, no foul was called. Meanwhile, when Natasha Howard drove to the basket and was slashed across the face, officials ruled it simply out of bounds with no foul call. We should have won this game. There were inconsistencies in the officiating.
What does it take to get a team to be more consistent, especially from you on the coaching side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. There's always got to be a high attention to knowing personnel. Oftentimes you don't get a lot of practice time and so going over a lot of their sets, which you do. But at the end of the day, making sure we know our personnel, who we're going to run off the 3-point line, what we're willing to give up. We've got to make sure that there's a.
This loss exposes deeper issues within the Indiana Fever organization and raises serious questions about officiating consistency. WNBA. Without Caitlin Clark, this Fever team has struggled to maintain the identity that made them successful. Their pace has slowed dramatically. Ball movement has become stagnant. And role players who thrived in defined roles are now being asked to do more than their skill sets allow. The defensive schemes that worked during their winning streak have fallen apart. LA's Kelsey Plum torched Indiana for 3 quarters, with the Fever eventually resorting to desperate double teams 35 feet from the basket, a strategy that compromised their entire defensive structure.
Aren't you the defensive coach? The defense was horrible today. Horrible. Aliyah Boston missed about 4 layups in the first quarter. She played a good game, but she was missing layups today. I mean, come on. I mean, this is just not good, man. It's not good enough, guys.
The numbers tell the story. Indiana managed only 5 fast break points the entire game. Their free throw shooting was abysmal at 12 and 19. These are the hallmarks of a team that has lost its identity and rhythm. Sports analysts have begun questioning whether the Fever have become too dependent on Clark's unique skill set. The three-game winning streak masked underlying issues that have now been exposed in back-to-back losses to teams they should comfortably defeat. Recent revelations from sports journalist Christine Brennan's best-selling book provide additional context to the current situation. Brennan documented a conversation with a top WNBA official the day after Clark declared for the draft. "To do how big this is?" Brennan asked. The official compared Clark's arrival to Maya Moore's entry into the league.
Circles.
Effect. This is wild, indeed. The day after Caitlin Clark declared for the 2024 WNBA draft, USA Today sports columnist Christine Brennan made a phone call to a top official in the WNBA. Quote, "Do you know how big this is?" Brennan asked. That official said Clark's arrival was the biggest thing to happen to the WNBA since Maya Moore came into the league.
Brennan's reaction was telling. The comparison revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of the phenomenon approaching the WNBA. While Moore was an exceptional talent, Clark's mainstream appeal and cultural impact would prove to be on an entirely different level. The numbers support this assessment. Exhibition games featuring Clark drew 14,000 fans, unprecedented for preseason WNBA contests. Economic impact analyses by Dr. Ryan Brewer initially seemed so unrealistic they required multiple verifications. This lack of preparation by league officials has contributed to the current problems. Marketing strategies, promotional materials, and even basic operational procedures were inadequate for the scale of attention Clark would bring. The Indiana Fever face a critical juncture, with Clark targeting a potential return for Wednesday's game against the Golden State Valkyries. The team must address both immediate tactical issues and long-term strategic concerns. Defensively, they need coherent schemes to handle opposing teams' primary scorers without compromising their overall structure. The decision to double-team Plum 35 feet from the basket exemplifies poor tactical decision-making. Offensively, they must develop sustainable systems that don't rely entirely on one player's brilliance. Role players need clearly defined responsibilities that match their skill sets. Questions about head coach Stephanie White's tactical adjustments and in-game management have become impossible to ignore. The team's inability to close out games against inferior opponents suggests deeper systemic issues. Tonight's story illustrates the complex challenges facing the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole. What should have been a routine victory against a struggling opponent became a case study in controversial officiating and organizational dysfunction. The Fever's championship aspirations depend on resolving these issues quickly. With Clark's return potentially imminent, the team has an opportunity to reset and refocus on what made them successful during their three-game winning streak. But questions about officiating consistency, coaching decisions, and organizational preparedness will continue to follow this team in this league until meaningful changes are implemented. For Sports Central News will continue following this story as it develops. What are your thoughts on the officiating controversy? Let us know in the comments below.
WNBA dropped this information.
Caitlin Clark ended up getting the All-Star captain vote.
Caitlin Clark has received the most WNBA votes.
Caitlin Clark does it again.
Her being voted in as a team captain is a big one.
She's by far the most popular player in the league.
Comes in at number 1.
Caitlin is not someone that moves the needle.
This is the needle.
Your captains for the All-Star Indy game are, no surprise here, Caitlin Clark, Nafisa Collier. These two got the most fan votes. They will now have an opportunity to draft their teams from a pool of the All-Stars, which have yet to be named. We're still waiting on that announcement. But
Caitlin Clark just dropped a clear warning message to every single rival in the league. And trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Not only has Clark absolutely dominated the All-Star voting with a record-breaking 1.29 million votes to become team captain, but brand new practice footage has just emerged showing the superstar back in full gear, hitting shots and looking ready to make her highly anticipated comeback. We're talking compression tights, leg sleeves, and that signature Clark confidence as she prepares for what could be the biggest games of her career. We're breaking down how this all-star captaincy is sending a message to her rivals, analyzing the exclusive practice footage that has everyone talking, and revealing why her comeback could change everything for the WNBA landscape. Stick around, because this story has everything: record-breaking votes, comeback drama, and a showdown that could define the season.
All-star team.
Caitlin Clark received 1.29 million all-star votes this year.
Caitlin Clark effect in full effect. Minute it feels like Fee is getting too close. That CCFC is just...
All right, let's dive right into the bombshell news. Caitlin Clark has officially been named captain of the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game, and the numbers behind this selection are absolutely mind-blowing. Clark received a staggering 1,293,526 fan votes. That's 1.29 million votes, people. To put this in perspective, she received more votes alone than the top 30 players combined from the 2023 All-Star Game, which barely crossed 1.1 million total votes. She beat out MVP frontrunner Natasha Howard by over 100,000 votes. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a popularity contest. The WNBA uses a weighted system: 50% fan votes, 25% media votes, and 25% player votes. Clark dominated across all categories.
Now to show your support.
Let's go. The one that saved the league. Baby, yes, Captain. Captain Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark, by far the most entertaining and popular player in the league, comes in at number 1.
This makes Clark the first Indiana Fever player in franchise history to earn all-star captain honors. And get this, it's happening on her home turf in Indianapolis on July 19th. The pressure, the expectations, she's embracing it all. When asked about the captaincy, Clark said, "It's cool that fans get to be a part of it and have a little impact on the game. It's going to be special to do it here in this city, trying to make it the best all-star that the WNBA has ever had."
I feel good. I'm going to be day-to-day from here on out, and doing everything I can to put myself in a position to play the next game every single time. You know, that's always my goal, is to be available for the next game, and doing everything I can with the medical staff to be able to get my body right, to be able to do that. And but yeah, I feel good, and you know, just.
But here's why this is more than just an all-star selection. This is Caitlin Clark sending a clear message to every rival in the WNBA. Despite missing multiple games due to injuries, despite the shooting slumps, despite all the adversity, she's still the most dominant force in women's basketball. Let's talk about the Caitlin Clark effect, because the numbers don't lie. ESPN and ABC viewership is up dramatically. Merchandise sales are soaring. Youth basketball participation in Indiana is booming, and little girls across the country are saying, "I want to be like Caitlin." And on the court, Clark already holds the record for most 20-point 10-assist games in WNBA history, with 10 games.
It's a statement
that Caitlin Clark has received the most votes, and the stage is set for the 2025 WNBA.
Every other player in WNBA history combined has the same amount. That's not just dominance, that's rewriting the record books. Her averaging 18.2 points and 8.9 assists per game, which would rank second in the league if she qualified for leaderboards, while dealing with injuries, is sending a clear message: I'm not going anywhere, and when I'm healthy, you better be ready. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While fans have been wondering about Clark's injury status and potential return, new practice footage has emerged that's got everyone talking. Recent footage from Indiana Fever practice shows Clark back on the court, and here's what caught everyone's attention. She's wearing full gear, including compression tights and leg sleeves. She's actively participating in shooting drills. She's jogging around and looking mobile. And most importantly, she's mentally engaged with the team.
Flip the narrative.
Now, this compression gear is something we haven't seen Clark wear before. Normally, she wouldn't have anything like that on, which suggests the medical staff is trying different approaches to manage her groin issue and get her back to 100%. In recent interviews, Clark has been clear about her intentions. "I feel good. I'm going to be day-to-day from here on out, and doing everything I can to put myself in a position to play the next game every single time. That's always my goal, to be available for the next game."
I feel good. I'm going to be